First thing for me is to have a microfiber cloth to rest the chassis on to prevent scratches and have the proper tools for today's task. Links for both of these items in the description below. We'll have 9 Phillips head screws, one covered by the tamper evident sticker. The front and center screw is shorter and the other 8 are the same length. Since the bottom panel sits flush into the edge of the chassis, a suction cup will begin the proper panel removal. Using much else will often lead to damaging your beautiful laptop you spent good money on. Unplugging your battery should be the next step when replacing hardware inside your laptop. I'll assist the white plug with a plastic tool, gently sliding the plug away from its housing. Do not rush this. Using a metal tool here will likely cause a short as you expose the metal pins the battery cable plugs into. Removing cables by pulling on the wires and nothing else is a bad practice. Removing your memory from the GS66 is really easy. Both slots are accessible and hidden under this black flimsy plastic. Manufacturers place this here mainly for aesthetics, as these parts are green and visible through the bottom panel ventilation. To remove the memory module, you'll need to press the metal clips on each side of the module away from the memory DIMM itself. It will spring up and then easily slide out. Note the groove cut into the memory module and the slot itself. These can only be installed one way, and we'll address this once we reinstall our memory. Storage accessibility on the GS66 is easy, as both M.2 slots are conveniently exposed. The current drive has the same black aesthetic covering we saw on the memory modules. This is held in place with sticky material. If you wish to not use these pieces during the reinstall, you do not have to. Once the storage is completely in view, remove the screw. The drive will lift up just like the memory modules. Slide the storage away from the slot for removal. Note its orientation. Just like the memory modules, it can only be installed one way. To remove your Wi-Fi card, you'll need to access its antennas. These are usually covered with tape, a metal clip that's held on with a screw, or a plastic housing that slides over the module partway. Dell uses the latter quite often, for example. Once the antennas are exposed, I'll use my finger to hold the antenna in place and a plastic pry tool to gently leverage the antenna off the Wi-Fi card. The connection point of the antenna and Wi-Fi card is fairly delicate. Remove the screw that secures the Wi-Fi card into place. The Wi-Fi card will lift up just like the memory modules and storage. Slide the card out, noting its orientation. Now let's reinstall the Wi-Fi card. Note these small circles and dimple inside each circle. Treat these delicately along with the antenna section it attaches to. Slide the card into its location and secure with its screw. Make sure you know which antenna plugs into each socket on the Wi-Fi card. Hopefully you have good eyes here. You'll want the antenna attachment point to be centered and level before pressing it onto the Wi-Fi card. Otherwise, you will run the risk of bending these tiny parts. You'll hear a satisfying click or pop, and then it's secure. Worst case scenario, you'll damage the antenna, and this is not a fun situation to have on your hands. Replacing these can be a chore, as the other end is often routed into the lid of the laptop, for example. We'll finish securing the antennas with the factory solution, in our case, Kapton tape. Reinstalling the memory modules is fast and easy. Make sure the module's notch lines up with the slot's notch. Slide the memory in on a slight angle till it's fully seated, then press it down towards the motherboard. It'll click into place. The M.2 storage is also slid into place on a slight angle. Once fully seated, hold it down and secure into place with the single screw. Don't forget to plug in your battery. When reinstalling the bottom panel, not all chassis are created equal. On this GS66, there's 6 slots that must sit into the bottom panel of the chassis first, and then this bottom edge must completely sit flush before allowing the rest of the bottom panel to lay in its place. Then proceed to gently press the bottom panel into place. It'll pop and click. Reinstall all 9 screws, making sure the single short screw is installed front and center. Go over your work here by verifying that the bottom panel is sitting flush and even with the outer edge of the laptop. Now let's verify our work. When you turn the GS66 on after unplugging its battery, it typically won't turn back on without power from its power supply. So plug in the power supply, press the power button, and wait. The time to boot and get back into the operating system will likely take longer. This is normal. Depending on the laptop, this can take anywhere between 30 and 90 seconds. Up to several minutes in rarer occasions, it will depend on the device. Let me know if you like content like this. See you in the comment section.